So the new season has finally come out and players cannot wait to get their hands on all the new stuff that Destiny 2 now has to offer. From new stasis aspects to fighting space rhinos, does this season live up to fans' expectations? My name is Brad Han, and welcome to my season of The Chosen First Impressions. The season starts off with a cutscene that briefly explains Kaitel's involvement within the current storyline of Destiny, and then another cutscene which involves both Kaitel, Zavala, and Osiris. Kaitel pitched the idea of an alliance, and explained to Zavala why she feels this is necessary for the Cabal to team up with the Guardians and put an end to the Hive. Osiris quickly intervenes in the conversation and says to Zavala that the Cabal cannot be trusted. Kaitel goes on to asking Zavala and Osiris to bow to her, which quickly ends up with Zavala giving Kaitel a hard no. Laser sights from the Cabal surroundings start to become more apparent until Kaitel tells them to stand down. She concludes the conversation with telling the commander that she'll see him on the battlefield. The cutscene comes to a close and our Guardian is quickly thrown into the new Battleground game mode that this season has to offer. Zavala explains to you that he declined Kaitel's offer for an alliance and that we need to take her forces down to prevent them from getting stronger. Some of these forces were also involved in the killing of several Guardians during the Red War. So Battlegrounds are like mini strikes whereby you progress through 3 large segments collecting keys, blowing up bombs, and killing the boss at the end. Fairly self-explanatory, however there is a lot, and I mean a lot of enemies. It feels like you're in the middle of a fully fledged war. Things get very busy very quickly. After completing the mission, you are encouraged to visit the new Helm area, which is located in the tower's directory. This is a new station that has been set up to manage your Umbral engrams and also enhance your hammer approving, which you can obtain from visiting the Helm. This hammer, once equipped, will allow you to claim extra rewards at the end of each Battleground mission. That, in a nutshell, is Season of Arrival's new content. Other than that, you can head back on over to the Stranger to collect her new missions, which will allow you to obtain the new aspects for your Stasis subclass, and once completing this, you'll also have access to new missions that grant you fragment decoders for the new Stasis fragments also. This works the exact same way as how you would originally obtain the fragments in Beyond Light. The overall power level has yet again been increased from 1260 to 1310, which means players will be chasing their pinnacles just like we have always done since the very beginning of Destiny. Nothing new there. Throughout my experience when playing, which was around 6 hours from the season's launch, I kept getting rewards that were significantly lower than my 1260 power base level. There also appears to be a bug in the game whereby every time you matchmake into a Crucible game, your game has a chance of crashing to the desktop. Right now this only appears to be a PC issue, nothing reported just yet on consoles. I haven't had the chance to play around with all of the new weapons in this season, so I don't want to comment too heavily on that. However, going by the couple that I have had the chance to play with, they just feel like the same old guns that we're always used to using in Destiny. No real big difference. And since we're on the topic of new weapons, one of the weapons that I did have access to due to being a season pass holder was the new exotic bow, Tiku's Divination, which honestly to me was a disappointment. The main selling point of this bow is the fact that the arrows can track targets, however in PvE, the arrows that do track targets do little to no damage, and in PvP, in order to secure a kill, you have to track them and then fire a second shot which causes an explosion to secure the kill. This is bad. The current meta in PvP is shotguns and hand cannons, all of which override what this bow can do. And to further prove this theory, I asked my friends to use the bow and go up against me whilst I use a hand cannon. They all could get their first tracking shot off, but I killed them before any of them were able to land their second shot to secure the kill. I really did expect more. After completing the very quick objective that you get when starting the new season, I found myself just doing the same thing that I have always done in Destiny 2, grinding for pinnacles, which is exactly what I assumed would be the case in my recent video that I uploaded on my personal channel. I basically said that we'll get a cool looking intro cinematic cutscene and then very quickly people would just be focused on their pinnacles and that's it. The more I was grinding for my pinnacles to get my power level up, the more I was realizing that the new Battleground game mode was getting very repetitive and honestly turned me off wanting to play more. So instead I just went back to the typical Nightfalls, Vanguard Strikes and Crucible, which again, all has the same stuff that I've been doing for ages now. Pinnacle after pinnacle after pinnacle. The Prismatic Recaster is back. Its newly debut has just been reintroduced into this season, which we all know and love from Season of Arrivals, but again, it is the exact same thing whereby you get Umbral engrams, you have the chance to focus them, and you get loot at the end of it. However, this does give a bit of a kick in the backside as the loot that you get hasn't had its power level increased. Therefore, the loot that you were getting back in Season of Arrivals has now made a return, and you can only use it for 3 months before Bungie sunset those weapons. I highly recommend that players don't get too attached from the god roll weapons that you get from your Umbral engrams, as the power cap will not increase after this season has finished. I don't know why Bungie reintroduced the Prismatic Recaster and didn't reissue the weapons with a higher power cap. Instead, like I said, you can only use it for the next 3 months, which I think is a really bad idea. Now, this is just my first impressions of Season of the Chosen, and right now it's not a positive one. However, we are at the very beginning of hopefully more and exciting new things to come. It's going to take a little more than just a new map for the battlegrounds, as like I said, that type of game mode that Destiny highly encourages the player to keep playing over and over is getting very repetitive. Other than that, Season of the Chosen doesn't really have much to offer. You quickly forget about Keitel the more that you are investing into your power level. The story starts to become forgotten and more bleak as players continue to chase that number. I truly hope things improve as the season progresses. I hope that we get more of a story-based mission-like narrative that Destiny 2 so dramatically needs to tell the story it was always meant to tell. Believe it or not, Destiny 2 is much more than just a power level. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed my first impressions. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree or disagree, and I'll see you in the next MGN Destiny 2 video that I next make. Take care.